a lot of the imagery in the latest Hulk movie was taken.
Well, a lot of the
from
concepts,
that.
the whole idea.
the thing on him with the computer.
That was all the
Bloom,
Bruce Jones.
That was
stuff.
all Bruce Jones.
Bruce Banner trying to be Zen-like and find
him doing
control
meditation techniques and stuff like that. And I mean, which was really. What I want from my comic.
I was really surprised to see that
in
the movie.
Level.
I thought, wow, here's a run that's really only known by hardcore comic fans, and that is dismissed by the populace
which is just really
at large.
sad because it came out at the point where Hulk was just like everybody. It was even before the Ang Lee movie that everybody's like Hulk who?
Yeah.
Everybody kind of forgot about him. And especially in the 2000s.
And then we have what happened next, which is World
War
Hulk, which a lot of people have been talking about. And okay, now I sat in the last week and read every issue that related to this in order, straight through. All the side comics, all in.
Well, you have to read the Illuminati series, which I started buying those. I thought they looked interesting.
They're cool.
Doctor Strange, Reed Richards, the Submariner,
Charles Xavier,
and
Black Bolt,
and Tony Stark.
They were actually introduced in the New Avengers.
Yes.
If you remember in the very first or second trade paperback, I guess it's the first. They're actually when Tony Stark reforms the Avengers when he actually has to call a meeting with all of those guys.
Oh, right.
And tell them that, hey, I'm doing this. And Namor's like, well, when were you going to tell us? And it's just like, why would he have to tell these guys anything? Illuminati is what kind of reveals.
It's sort of the brain trust of the Marvel Universe.
Yeah,
you take all the smartest guys from all the teams.
You've got Doctor Strange, who represents all the sorceress elements, all the magical elements. You've got a Namor for the Atlanteans, and then you've got Reed Richards for science.
Really, the Black Panther should have been included.
He really should have. Yeah.
Yes,
in
because
fact,
he could have represented black people.
Oh, what? No black person on the... Oh, I see how it is.
You got Black Bolt? Oh, wait a minute.
In name only.
Who is not allowed to speak.
I thought he was
who's not allowed to actually...
I thought he was like Black Goliath.
Who Doctor Strange... No, Charles Xavier interprets for him, and he keeps looking at him like, that's not what the fuck I said.
Right.
But I thought it was such a cool series, the little mini-series, where these guys, they got together hey, look, we shouldn't be doing this, we know, but we're the smartest guys, we're going to decide what should be happening in the world, and they get involved in these different conspiracies, and
they're like a neocon think tank, except they accomplish good things.
Actually, they're a retcon think tank, how they went back and they changed so many important stories.
Man, now that was a semantic
well
joke
done.
par excellence.
A touch, Jason. A palpable touch.
One of the issues of the Illuminati is where these guys get together. Matter of fact, it's the thing that breaks them up, where they decide, you know what, the Hulk is too strong, too powerful, too unpredictable. We need to get him out of the Earth. We'll drug him, strap him to a rocket, and send him off into space, and let him live on some other planet. And Namor is the first one who's always the contrarian, who just says, you know what?
This is bullshit.
Yeah, I haven't been happy with what you guys have been doing, but this is bullshit, and I'm out of here.
And that was kind of cool. It was cool.
He's Cartman. Yeah. He's like,
I can breathe underwater. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
And then Xavier wasn't even there.
And his argument was very cogent. He was like, he's fought alongside you and helped you out, and you're going to send him to another fucking planet?
Let's face it, Tony Stark is the biggest dick of anybody in the Marvel Universe.
Thank you, Joe
who's
Quesada.
Supposed to be a hero.
Yeah.
Well, a real guy.
Thanks, Joe and Mark. No, that's what I'm saying. Thanks, Joe and Mark. Yeah.
Now, from these things that they've happened in Illuminati, we've gotten some of the best comic moments or comic book moments lately, like the return of Thor when he confronts Iron Man over the Civil War and having that was and
you cloned me. I feel like that was totally Reed's idea.
Will somebody lend me those? Because I'm
check out. He's at Four Freedoms Plaza right now, dude. I didn't even know. I thought it was you.
It was Richards. He looked at me.
Well, the other day I was in
J. Michael Straczynski is rewriting Thor right now and doing a new Thor series. Thor's back to life
in Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma, they built a new Asgard in Oklahoma, and it's the moment. What about the third issue?
I think.
So Asgard is in Oklahoma.
Yes.
Okay, well that's good. Now there are two types of people in Oklahoma that don't believe that that don't believe in evolution.
Yeah, exactly.
Balder guarding the holy moonshine still.
The whole thing. Iron Man shows up and he's just like, yeah, look, a lot of things have changed since you've been gone, and you're on U.S. soil, and you're sort of like you need to get recognized by the government, and I'm gonna give you about 5 minutes to register and all this. And Thor just puts the smackdown on him and says, I don't appreciate the fucking clone you did. You've turned in your friends. And I just want you to know that all this time, I've been holding back.
By the way, I'm a god.
Push it.
I don't have you.
If you really want to get me out of here, bring it on.
You're a dude in armor. I will turn you into goo with a thought.
Yeah, he pretty much fries him. Like, the armor's a shell, and Tony Stark's kind of like, well, I'm just gonna leave some forms here. You can sign whenever you get
or
arrested.
not.
Yeah, the armor was like, warning, you dumb fuck, get out of here.
I always like you back when we were on the team.
But back to World War Hulk. So what happens with the Hulk is at this planet where he has to enter the gladiator ring and fight his way up.
Well, let's not forget, he was forced off the planet by this Illuminati group.
Right.
They tricked him into a rocket, sent him into space,
Right.
and they accidentally sent him to the wrong planet.
Yeah.
The ship malfunctioned. He was supposed to land on a planet with no intelligent life. Instead, he landed on,
Tatooine.
American Gladiators planet.
Yeah.
Which, couldn't have been more perfect.
And you have to fight Nitro and Ice
Well, which he does.
and the Green Scar.
he finally fights his way into being the
It's sad,
king of the
between
planet.
War World and this world. I mean, most of the inhabited universe, DC or Marvel, is just made up of gladiatorial pits.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. No, it's actually kind of cool what ends up happening though. He's there on the planet, and the ship that was sent.
It's after he defeats everyone. He becomes the king of the planet. He has a
got
wife. He has a kid.
And then
the ship goes nuclear.
Yeah, turns into a nuclear bomb,
and kills
blows up.
everyone he loves.
Yeah, kills all these millions of people on the planet, his wife, his kids, right in front of him because the Hulk pretty much can't be killed.
Yeah.
You just can't kill him.
Yeah, the harder you try to kill him, and you miss, the stronger and the more he adapts.
He says it over and over again. The angrier Hulk gets, the stronger he is.
Yeah.
Ever since it started, and it's true. You put him at ground zero, and he's just like, well, now you're in trouble.
Of course, you get him to smoke a doobie, and you could kill him with a BB gun.
Yeah, no, that's true. Once the worst thing you could, you wonder why people don't figure that out. It's like the way you deal with the Hulk isn't to launch missiles at him.
No.
You bring in the Grateful Dead.
You dose him with some ecstasy.
You throw down pot bombs, and you have a bunch of
Hulk-like pacifier and Xylem glow stick.
have a bunch of strippers show up. I mean, come on.
It's Friday, Bruce.
bunch
You ain't
of
got a
Orion
job.
Gabriel.
You ain't got shit to do.
So he's hell-bent on coming back to Earth and getting his revenge.
Yeah, he wants revenge, and that's what World War Hulk is about.
It's Ed Norton and James Franco in the Hulk Express.
And the thing is, he comes back with his war-bound.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
other
yeah.
gladiators he fought with are as badass as he was.
Like some Brood, and then
Including the Brood, the guys from the X-Men, the old
Yeah.
Chris Claremont area, like one of the best villains ever in comics.
one of the
Well, a
best
ripoff of
alien
Alien
knockoffs.
Alien.
obviously.
Yeah.
They're
Best
they're
alien
no
race
they're
film.
no Badoon, if you will.
But
No dire wraiths.
it turns this thing where he's like, look, all I want is for you guys to give me these Illuminati guys, Doctor Strange, Reed Richards, all these guys, give them to me, and the rest of it
And
will be
we'll
fine.
reform the Defenders. Oh wait,
Well, yeah, he captures. I read the issue. I read the entire graphic novel just this weekend, where he goes to confront Charles Xavier, where he goes to the X-Men mansion and decides, okay, Xavier, you're one of the Illuminati, you got to come with me. And Xavier's like, okay, I will. And the rest of the X-Men are like, no, you can't take him. He's like, hey, you guys, this is my fight. And they like, no, you sit here. We're gonna fight the Hulk. And he just slaughters them.
It
Yeah.
turns into a 4-issue smackdown
Yeah.
of the Hulk regularly teaching every single one of the X-Men, including the Wolverine.
Including the Juggernaut.
No,
Yeah.
you guys just don't get it. I'm the
this
fucking
ain't no ordinary
Hulk.
street Negro. You basically.
All-
This is the fucking Hulk.
But I'm not really sure what the issue is here. Xavier's like, will you guys please cut this shit out?
Oh, and there's a great cover. One of the covers to that episode, or to that issue, was the Hulk behind Xavier with a big hand around him, and it really did look like the Hulk was having his way with Charles Xavier.
Jerking off.
It looked like old Chuck had dropped the soap, and the Hulk was like, "Guess what? I'm back.
In this issue, Xavier goes to prison.
Yeah. Google the image. And you'll
Charles, so you were not actually there to make decision on Hulk. Your punishment is private.
What?
At that point,
why are you sounding like Fozzie Bear?
At that point,
or Yoda.
At that point, Charles was very thankful that he was numb from the waist down.
Xavier gets into a lot of trouble, and a lot of trouble gets into Xavier. The beauty of it was when he confronts him, he's like, "Well, I'll take the punishment, but I just want you to know that I wasn't there." Well, if you were there, would you have voted to shoot me into space? Well, and the White Queen is going, say no, say no.
So why do you have to always be such an honest dickhead? Jesus Christ.
Well,
the White Queen, the most powerful telepath in the Marvel Universe, is sitting right there, and she's not doing anything.
Meanwhile, ironically,
they all try to do something. The Hulk. The thing about the Hulk is, it's not even about his strength anymore. It's about how well he adapts to what you do to him.
Meanwhile, ironically, the only one who could have reasonably stopped him, Kitty Pryde, is off in a spaceship.
No. You missed it. She does. She fuses him with the ground.
Oh, did she?
Oh yeah. She grabs him and fuses him with the ground.
I don't understand. What's the issue?
This is before Joss Whedon really fucked up. And I never thought those words would come out of my mouth.
Well, his heart. She fuses him with the ground, and everybody's like, "Whoa, you crippled him! I can't believe you did that."
She's the only one who slows him down.
She's like, "I know. I feel really bad that I did that." And he just rips up out of the ground, even with these pieces of bedrock embedded in his arm.
Yeah.
And just like, he's the fucking Hulk. Like, nothing stops him.
She does stop him, though, for a little while.
He's
out of it for like 10 minutes.
Yes.
Trying to get that. She's the only one who even puts a crimp in his style.
She's the only one who slows him down. Like, the Juggernaut shows up like, "Well, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch." And he's like, "Yeah, I do see the bitch part," and slaps him down.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, so nothing stops the Juggernaut, including the Great Wall of China?" Have fun. But okay, so we got World War Hulk, and all that gets resolved in the typically wimpy way that Marvel wraps up.
Sure, where the Hulk is like, "Well, I beat you guys."
By bringing out the goddamn Sentry.
Yeah, well, by bringing out the goddamn Sentry in actually, while the art is not bad by John Romita Jr., I really hated the inks for that. The final big, everything blows up. It was so bland.
I was like, what is going on? It lost me.
Well, it gets boring. The side issues like Frontline, which during the Civil War, if you go back,
the Frontline issues are great.
During Civil War is the best thing of Civil War, which is a comic about the newspaper reporters on the outside.
Wait, how can somebody coming down and like beating the crap out of everybody and beating the crap out of everybody some more and then beating more crap out of everybody possibly get boring? Especially when it's stretched over 4 fucking issues for a single fight. I don't understand why that could possibly.
The fact is, it's easy to come up with, like, we're about to go into Red Hulk.
Yes, we are about to.
And
let's just go with the question that started all.
The question itself.
Myths and Legends, which is a Spill member, and I don't know why they call themselves that, but there it is.
They must sell swords on the side.
There's replicas. If you want, they've got the Witchblade from the TV series.
Yeah, exactly.
Highlander,
a replica of Excalibur.
The finest velvet cloaks available.
They've got the Batlach. The accent grave. And
and what was the thing from Krull?
The glaive.
The glaive.
That is a glaive. Yes.
But anyway, they were saying I was reading the new Hulk with the Red Hulk, and he fought the Hulk, and more use of the word Hulk. And since the next week on Hulk, Leog is going to be about the Hulk. You give me your opinion about the new Red Hulk. Hulk.
The Red Hulk comes in, he kills the Abomination, he kills Wendigo, and he beats everybody he comes across. And we still don't know who he is. It's been 6 issues.
Boring.
Thank you.
6 very, very incredibly boring.
And who wrote them?
Jeff
Loeb, everybody's favorite hack.
The art is mediocre.
Who someone thinks he gets a free pass because his son died.
I don't mind the art. I think the art
was mediocre.
See, here's honestly what I think about Ed McGuinness, the artist. I think he's a great draftsman. I like what he draws. I like the way he draws.
Yeah.
You know, he makes everybody really thick. I like his style. And the way he's working in conjunction with his colorist and all, very good. Storytelling-wise, very weak. Because what happens in all 5 of those issues should have been enough for 2, maybe even 1 issue. But he's drawing like 4 panels per page. So you can read these I mean, if you blink, you miss the whole issue.
To take this full circle, we're going from this very cerebral, dense written Hulk, that's taking Freudian images and bringing them into the comic,
right?
To basically 22 pages showing nothing but a big green guy and a big red guy pounding the crap out of each other. Yeah. I'm sorry, that doesn't do anything for me. No, I mean, that's a lie. It does do something for me. It pulls my face apart, steps into my brain, and insults my fucking intelligence. Stop it, Jeff. Go away.
No, it's after the World War Hulk, which, like I said, I had problems with, but overall, it was a decent.
But it makes World War Hulk look like Hamlet.
No, World War Hulk was serious, and it actually had some ramifications in the universe that were much more interesting than some of the other recent, big, universe-spanning events they've had. And it went after that, it just started juggling, like, hey, we're just going to have fun. Here's the Red Hulk. He's going to murder all the Hulk's old friends. So he's clearly not actually Bruce Banner, who is actually being kept underground by S.H.I.E.L.D. now as Bruce Banner. So we know it's not him. So who is it? And yet the whole time they're joking, they're laughing, and they're like, okay, guys, what the fuck are you doing?
Who wants to take odds that Red Hulk is Betty?
It's Mark Spector.
Ooh, Betty. That's interesting.
But that's actually something I haven't heard anybody suggest.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But you know what?
The biggest
it's one of those things where it would be a shock, but it wouldn't make any sense.
The biggest insinuation is
which would fall right into line.
The last issue they insinuated it's Doc Samson.
Right.
Which, not proof, but insinuated.
A good Jewish boy would never do that.
Maybe Jeff Loeb pulled a Grant Morrison and Red Hulk is actually Jeff Loeb.
Exactly.
Now, many of you may not know, but our own Leon here has indeed worked in the comic industry before. Hey, Leon, my name is Elliot.
Okay.
And for the longest time, I've wanted to become an artist for art departments on movies and video games, as well as do some comic book stuff on the side. I'm just finishing up my freshman year in college. I'm having a little trouble in finding out what classes and steps I need to take in order to reach my goals. After listening to the Spill podcast and finding out that you were, and still are, an artist in the comic business at one time, I was wondering what steps did you take to work in that industry? And then, in addition to that, Myths and Legends asks, being that you have a knowledge in drawing for comic books, could you tell me what tools I need to start drawing in a comic book style? And, I've never worked in comics. I read comic books like crazy. We all do. But I think of all of us, Leon's the only one who actually has gotten paid for the privilege.
Yes, Leon has read How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way 500 times.
He wrote How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. He's that old.
Yeah, I've also applied it. As far as me specifically, I got an associate's degree from the Art Institute of Houston, and which the teaching for that 2 years was all about being a professional. Took me through several different aspects of being a commercial artist, tons of anatomy classes on design, advertising design, graphic design, illustration, airbrush, everything. And a lot of this prepared me for being a comic book artist and doing other things. But if you're going to be a comic book artist, the main thing is, like I just said, lots of drawing. I mean, the whole concept of you have 1,000 bad drawings in you, and you have to get through those to get to the good drawings. It's very true. You need to have a sketchbook that you draw in all the time. What's something I stress to people is something that's very important is to find a support group. Wherever you live, there are other wannabe comic artists in your area, and you need to seek them out. Maybe do a posting at a comic book store close by, but you get a good friend group. Now, from there, I could tell you that if you aren't going to get formal training, there are 3 books that I recommend for any would-be comic artist. One is How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. Yeah, I mean, these are old books that still hold up today. There's a lot of bullshit books out there, like How to Draw Manga Characters and How to Draw Dynamic. And a lot of these guys, I look at them and I'm like, wow, you can't even fucking draw yourself. How are you going to teach other people?
How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, I mean, it's based on life drawing techniques. I mean, It's straight and to the point.
Yes.
And it rocks.
It's one of those books that came out.
Was it Sal Buscema?
It was John Buscema.
John Buscema. Big John Buscema.
Yeah. And everything in there, it tells you the tools you need. A great book for drawing, a book that's even older than that, is by an artist called Jack Ham, and it's called How to Draw the Head and Figure. You'll look at it, and all the people look like they were drawing, like 50s. But you know what? The anatomy is perfect, and he breaks everything down just like you need it to be. Now, I just recently discovered a book on comics, on creating comics, by Jessica Abel. Her and her husband, they have a book on how to create comics. And as much as I've blown off every other book, with the exception of Scott McCloud's latest book. Scott McCloud tends to write books about comics, but mostly they're such dense dissertations. Well, by the time you get through them, you won't really learn what you're looking for. But
they're about the philosophical side.
Yes, they are. They're all about the about the philosophy of drawing comics. His latest book is about creating comics, and it's actually very good. It's also very thick, and I think you can learn a lot from it, but you can also get lost in it and spend so much time reading it that you never get a comic done.
Honestly, you can spend as much time as you want learning to draw comics, and that's great. But if you want to write comics, Scott McCloud is probably where you want to go.
You're absolutely right.
Reading.
You're right. Okay. So the 4 books: How to Draw the Hidden Figure by Jack Hamm, Drawing Comics the Marvel Way.
Jessica Abel's husband is Matt Madden.
Okay.
And he did a book called 99 Ways to Tell a Story, which is a really good book on comic illustration and writing, I believe.
Okay, right on. So, I would suggest those 4 books. Yeah. If you want to buy books, you really, you'll see others that you like, books on photo reference and whatnot, but those are the ones. I'd been drawing comics, in some form or another since I was a little kid, since I was a wee boy and saw, heard the word Spider-Man. Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Yeah. As a kid, watching Spider-Man, Speed Racer, the original Filmation Justice League, and the Hanna-Barbera Fantastic Four. These are things that inspired me.
And here it is, almost 70 years later, and still.
If you're just looking at breaking into the industry, a lot of it will come from either that you apprentice with somebody, you will make friends with an artist who's already established, who will help you, you will be his assistant, he will be his Padawan, for lack of a
comics
better word.
are just like any other form of entertainment. A lot of it is not what you know, it's who you know. And making friends and networking is an important skill to master.
It is a situation where it's truly both. I mean, to quote The Incredibles, luck favors the prepared, darling. Yeah. For me, it was going to comic book conventions and showing my portfolio around. And showing your portfolio around means you show what you have. You take out anything that you feel you need to apologize for. You never show a piece where you go like, well, you know what, I just kind of did this last night, or this isn't really supposed to be this. No. Your work needs to be able to stand up to where you can hand it to somebody, walk away, and they can see everything they need to see in it. And the thing is, you aren't going to work for Marvel and DC right off the bat. I don't care who the fuck you are. Yeah. You could be the son of Stan Lee.
Especially not now.
Yeah. Yes. But you know what? You approach the smaller companies, the indie guys. But you need to approach the guys who do just strictly black and white comics, who will publish your work. And they may not pay you. They will say well, you'll get a percentage of royalties, which means you're doing it for free. Don't kid yourself and think you're going to actually get some royalties out of it. But the goal is to get published.
And also note that most of the major companies do have submissions pages on their websites. And
ignore that.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Really?
Okay, you will send your work in, and it will go to the bottom of a pile. I talked to an editor. She was an editor at Topps at the time, and she was complaining about, these kids keep giving me their portfolios at the convention, and I'm here. I'm not going to be able to deal with this right now. I don't know why they do that. And I was like, yeah, but if they mail it to you at your office, you're just going to stick it at the bottom of a pile and never see it. And she's like, well, yeah, you're right about that.
Batonga, 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 batonga. And Batongaville. Get it.
Quick fire or crossfire.
Oh, what do we call it? Lightning
quick
round.
answer, lightning round. Where's the theme?
Yeah, this is
this
Leog's Black Lightning Round.
Okay. Ooh, Black Lightning Round.
Give some Black Lightning music.
Welcome to the Black Lightning Round.
Welcome to the Black
Lightning Round.
Lightning
Fire
round.
your questions as fast as lightning.
Fast as lightning. Keep going.
Oh.
As fast as Black Lightning.
Are you ready, children?
Children.
Cyrus, cue up those questions. Let's get through those.
Let's get it on.
This just keeps
It's
getting
time for the
stupider
Black
and
Lightning
stupider.
Round.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I grew up on those monster truck
We're at the
commercials.
point of the show where we're all pretty much drunk.
Sábado. C'est tonight.
La música, la música.
You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Ocho.
Well, So we're going to go through these. What we do is we're going to get these questions out of the way. We haven't had time to answer seriously the rest of the show. Joshua asks, I heard you guys say how much you hate the Thomas Jane Punisher movie, but I've never really heard you say why. Maybe I missed it, but I'd really like to know what was so wrong with it. I liked it mainly because it had no CGI, no stupid slow-mo or bullet time effects. It was all old school stunt work, reminded me of the old 70s crime films like Death Wish and Dirty Harry. I've heard you say Thomas Jane is a wimp, but I really don't see him in that way. The guy took real knife wounds during a fight scene and didn't call cut. He stayed in character. So please tell me, what did the Punisher do so wrong? Jason.
Watch Man on Fire pretend Denzel Washington's name is Frank Castle.
Leon.
Oh, good answer. Very, very quick. I don't know if I can answer this as quickly as that. The fact is, John Travolta is an awful villain. Go back and watch Broken Arrow. You can see what a terrible idea it is to make him a villain. He can't pull off that over-the-top shit as some kind of scary guy. You laugh at him the whole time. Thomas Jane, much like Jason Statham, is about 5'6", 5'7". The actual Punisher, I'm sorry, but the Punisher is a big, hulking, old-ass Vietnam vet that is scary.
He looks like Ray Stevens, coincidentally.
Yeah, I mean, whenever when the Punisher walks to a room, the temperature drops about 10 degrees.
Yeah.
Thomas Jane does not do that.
No.
And now the thing is, somebody might say, like, well, maybe they weren't trying to be the Garth Ennis Punisher, except they were.
No.
They actually stole elements from the Garth Ennis Punisher comics.
When Thomas Jane walks into a room, the ABBA music goes up by 10 decibels.
Exactly. He's like
The Punisher does not own any hair gel.
The Punisher was a guy who took on not just one bad guy, but the entire mafia. And Thomas Jane barely beats goddamn John Travolta. Give me a fucking break.
Mr. Tankard asks, who are the writer-artists that first cemented your love of comics? In other words, who turned your interest in comics into an integral hobby? I'm turning this one to Beau.
One of the first comics that somebody besides my parents got me into was the original run of Moon Knight, and the two artists that worked on that were Doug Minch and Bill Sienkiewicz. And Bill Sienkiewicz kind of started out as a Neil Adams clone, and that's not a bad thing. Neil Adams was incredible, one of the best artists that ever came down the pike in comic books, but he grew into something so much more, and basically over the 36 issues, which is basically about 3 years, I started collecting with about issue 3 of Moon Knight, and by the end of the run, I was so amazed at the possibilities of what this art form could do and the stories that could be told. I had been made into a lifelong fan. I knew that comic books were just as important as movies, as TV, as novels, as poetry. Anyway.
Jason.
Larry Hama, G.I. Joe, Roger Stern, Amazing Spider-Man.
Nice. I grew up reading comic books like any other